Instagram. We're sending data over, and then sending data over to Instagram. We're going live on Instagram as well, so we're simultaneously live on Twitch and on Instagram, folks. There we go. We're going to get this show going. So awesome, everybody. Just going to get it going. Just double checking that everything looks good. All right, we look good, everybody. Perfect. I'm going to go over to my page just so we can manage. Oh my God. Hi, everybody. So, hello, Internet. All right, everybody. We're going to get this one going. So, this is a build I have. This is a build I've been needing to do. I tore it down. This is actually a rebuild of a board we're doing. So, we got to get this board ready for the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard Show this weekend, everybody. So, this is going to be what we're doing. We're doing Alps today, so this will be a little more of an involved build. But this board is a little crusty. It's been kind of torn apart and in pieces and mothballs for a while. Just kind of waiting for a planned rebuild. So this keyboard is called the Hex.3c V2. So it's a really cool board. This board I got from Australia, which is really cool. So a really nice little 60% board. It's also win keyless, which is really nice. A nice little fun board. So we're going to be building it with these Alps White clicky switches, but these are the bamboo variant. So these are a much later Alps switch. So they're going to sound a little bit different and less punchy and bouncy compared to my Pine White Alps. So we're going to use these switches. So these switches are from the 1990s. And we're going to use this hella crusty keycap set. So this is from an FK 2001 keyboard from the 1990s. And I labeled this keycap set as very crusty. So this is a very yellowed keycap set. And I think that's the vibe and the aesthetic I genuinely want to go with this keycap, with this board. So it's going to be a fun one, everybody. So we're definitely going to have those. And then, of course, we have our plate and also a PCB. So this PCB I have used before. I cleaned it up with a desolder gun. So let me just kind of show off the PCB because it's a really interesting PCB. So plate, it's an aluminum plate. So this is made. This is actually the plate file is actually from the designer of this board, Hex. But the actual plate was cut by my friend Tom over at Hype Keyboard. So Tom is one of my sponsors and kind of friends of the channel. So again, big shout out to Tom over at Hype Keyboard for making the plate for us. And then we are using a McLovin PCB. So that's actually McLovin Studios based out of Southeast Asia, and they make some fantastic PCBs. So we have this beautiful red. And what's cool about this board, it supports Cherry MX and Alps, which is really cool. So I have a few extra PCBs for this particular board. So if I ever want to do like a Cherry build in it, I could very easily do it. Which is pretty sick, everybody. So, but yeah, that's what we're going to do tonight. Got to get this build rebuilt because this is one I definitely want to showcase over at UC Irvine. One of the builds that we're definitely going to be showcasing. So I'm going to put the case to the side. We're really not going to be working with the case until like the very end of the build. So don't got to worry about the case. Most of our focus is going to be on the actual PCB itself. So, but that's what we're going to be working with, folks. We got a ton of tools over here because there's a lot we got to do with this particular board. But I'm really excited for the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard meetup this weekend. So it's going to be down in Irvine, California. And it's going to be a really nice meetup hosted by the students over at UC Irvine, folks. So it's going to be a really, really nice time. So we're really looking forward. And I'm going to be taking out pretty much the entirety of the keyboard collection. So we're going to be taking a metric crap load of boards out. So it's going to be awesome, everybody. So we did a stream yesterday, and we're doing a stream today, folks. So the stream yesterday was a client restoration keyboard. It's kind of buried under a bunch of stuff on my shelf up there, but essentially I'll show you my personal. But we essentially restored one of these old Apple M0116 keyboards. That's going to be sent to our user and friend over down in New Zealand, which will be really nice. It'll be nice. One of my boards is going to the other side of the planet, which will be really cool. So got our plate cleaned up. We're going to start off with stabilizers. You all kind of know the game and the drill at this point. When we do at least modern Alps builds, I like to start off doing the stabilizers first because that just makes life like 1,000 times easier. So let me get my stabilizer parts and we'll kind of go from there. So I got a metric truckload of Alps stabilizer parts. We'll get those out and we'll get going. So there we go. Cool. So let's kind of throw those to the side, everybody. So we got our crusty keycaps. which are going to be fantastic. And we got all our stabilizer parts. So let's just dump all these FK 2001 stabilizer parts. I have a bunch of these keycap sets, so I have a bunch of the stabilizer sets. So yeah, look at all that. So look at all that little rat's nest of stuff. So let's get most of the parts out that we're gonna need for this build. So we're doing 5 sets of stabilizers. So we're gonna need enough parts for 5 total builds. Let's get our little wire clips out first, and then we'll kind of jump in from there. So we'll get our little clips. So we got 8, and then we got 10. So we're just kind of jumping through this one. Let me get my little tool right here to kind of push these little puppies in, everybody. But yeah, we're doing a fun stream, everybody. So should be a really nice, shouldn't be too much, this stream shouldn't be too involved or too much of a pain in the butt. My desoldering gun is kind of out of commission right now. The nozzle on it got busted, so I have a new nozzle, and that's not coming till Thursday. So we're basically just gonna solder the switches in and just kind of hope for the best. If there are faulty switches when I get the nozzle in for the desolder gun, then I'll desolder the dead switches or the faulty switches, and then we'll put in new switches later in the week. But I just want to get the main work. I just want to do most of the work and get this board built, just so I don't have to worry about it and deal with it. Because this is definitely one I want to showcase. Because this is a fun little build. It's a really, really nice little board. I love showcasing this build, and it's really inexpensive. Like, this is about the keyboard. This keyboard kit itself is about $160. So it's definitely on the more affordable end in terms of my Alps builds, in terms of like the base keyboard, which is really nice. So that's always a good time. So I just want to double check which clips we're going on with the space bar right here, and we're going with those 2 inner ones. So we're just making sure. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time, everybody. And then, of course, it's a nice day at work today. So, like, today at work, it was kind of a cool day because it was, so I didn't have any students today, but we had, like a teacher training day. So if any of my students are on here, you guys didn't have to go to school today. I had to go to school today, so lucky. That's all I'll say about that, everybody. But yeah, so good times, everybody. So nice kind of pseudo 3-day weekend, but not really. I still had to do stuff today, so good times. And then we're picking up a bunch of retro boards tomorrow. I got 4 retro keyboards coming in the mail tomorrow, so it's going to be super, super awesome getting those in. So I'll see if I can get those cleaned up and restored depending on what condition they're in, and see if we can get those ready for the keyboard show on Saturday. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to do a stream probably on Friday, and it's literally just going to be me. It's just kind of a hodgepodge of me, like, packing up boards, getting boards ready. So you're going to see, we'll kind of showcase the entirety of the collection on stream on Friday, because I got to get them all packed up. All the boards have their own, like, carrying cases and boxes that they go into for transport. So we're definitely going to have a stream on Friday. It's probably just going to be a little longer. Not really a build stream per se. It's just literally getting the boards ready for transportation to UC Irvine on Saturday. So we're just going to get them all packed up and just do any touch-ups on the boards and make sure that they're all good to go. So we've got our clips here. We're going to put these little posts. Oops. That one wasn't a good clip. That wasn't really clipped in there. We're going to get our... Oops. Where'd it go? Well, I lost the clip. It's okay. Let's grab another one, folks. Grab another one. There we go. Let's put that one in there. So, should be a good time, everybody. We're just having a fun stream tonight, folks. It's literally just me talking to the internet and building a keyboard, so nothing too crazy. So, nothing too crazy. Like, we're literally just doing some ASMR stuff tonight, folks. So, it's going to be a good time. So, all right, put these clips in. These are posts to kind of hold up our space bar, which is really nice. So, we're getting those things inserted. There we go. Awesome. So, going well. Let's get our other pieces as well for this, and then we'll kind of get going. So, let's figure out how I want to do this. So, let's get our clips. Let's get our actually big stabilized keycaps on this one, and we'll kind of go from there. So, let me dump all my keycaps out and find my stabilized keycaps, because we kind of need those. So, space bar, because we're going hella crusty on this set today. You can see just how yellowed and crusty this set is. I love it. It's such a cool set. So, definitely love just how clapped this set is. It came off a really nasty keyboard. Like, it was just messed up. So, this was definitely a crusty set, and I love it. I love how it came out. So, okay, those are numpad stuff. We got our backspace, and let's find our proper enter. That's our plus. Don't need those. Are our numpad keys. Big ass enter. So yeah, we are going with the big ass enter tonight. So big ass enter is definitely a vibe. Oh man, let me see if these are. Let's see if I can clean some of this stuff off. There's some marks on these crusty keycaps right here. And these caps are clapped. Oh my god. Yeah, but you can see just how clapped these are. So yeah, we got our big ass center. We got our hella yellowed spacebar. So you can see a lot of the yellowing in some of the keycaps. Like some of these like this letter X is like hella yellowed. So it's definitely a vibe. So that's the vibe I'm kind of going for. With this board, we're gonna definitely go. Yeah, just buzzing me. Google, leave me alone. All right, so we're gonna have fun here, everybody. It's nothing too crazy. So I'm like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm just wiping this. There's some stuff on this keycap. I want to see if I can get off. So good times, everybody. Oh yeah, so these are ABS plastic, so these have yellowed over time. Not all of my FK 2001 sets are yellowed. Like I have some FK sets that are in really good condition. You can see that white space bar. So like I have some sets that are in pretty good condition, but like this is definitely my most clapped set. The yellow, and I really like yellowing. Some people would retrobrite these and make them all nice and shiny again. I'm like, heck no, dude. Like yellowing is a freaking vibe, man. Like look at this. Look at yellowing. Look at that beautiful yellowing. It is definitely a vibe and an aesthetic and a choice, and I love it. So I don't retrobrite stuff. I clean up stuff. Like I'll get all the crime and like crap and just dirt off of it. But like in terms of retrobriting, it's not my thing. It's never been my thing. With vintage stuff, like unless something is like in an unimaginably bad condition, I'll retrobrite it. But like I haven't come across a board that necessitates retrobriting. So, like, I definitely just want to keep it nice and just organized and whatnot. So, man, there's some stuff on here I just want to get off. Yeah. Yellow caps are fun. I really love some yellowed keycaps. Like, I mean, it's just because the ABS. Like, if these were PBT, like proper PBT double shots, like, these wouldn't be yellowed. Like, I have old Macintosh keycaps, and those are fantastic. I love me some Macintosh keycaps, but those just don't work with this particular plate. Macintosh keycaps need their own proprietary plate because it's Apple and they like being special. Apple just likes their proprietary stuff, so that's just kind of annoying. So, but yeah, I think we're good. Got all that crud cleaned off of them. So let's get our clips installed on these puppies, and then we'll kind of go from there. So. Put our clips on these bottom of these keycaps, and then we'll just kind of get going. That's a little loose. So it's gonna make sure these clips are nice and tight. That's not good. Let's see if these okay, I want to try a different keycap set for this one. Give me a second. So yeah, we're just doing the stabs usually take up most of the time. Oops. With these particular builds, so it's just kind of just being patient with these particular boards and whatnot. So yeah, Alps stabs are just kind of their own thing and just kind of an animal in and of themselves. So okay, that's pretty weird. I'm gonna see if I can compress these a little bit. So yeah, this backspace just isn't being as tight as I would want it to be. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of compression right here. Just gonna kind of crush the tubes a little bit just to make it a little bit better. There we go. That's a lot better, so perfect. So we're just making sure these clips go in under here, and that's going to allow us to interface with the wires. Sweet. Those are good. There's our shift. And then we'll get our big ass enter over here. But yeah, yellow keycaps I definitely enjoy. Like, I don't know, just the yellowing. I know it's not for everybody. If you want to retrobrite something, go for it. But in terms of like my personal Alps builds and like the retro vintage restoration projects I've been doing, I'm definitely more of a fan of just kind of I do like scrub everything in like hot soapy water and whatnot. But like I don't, in terms of like retrobriting, I just don't do it, man. I think it's part of like the patina and like the aesthetic of the boards. And it also took decades for that yellowing to happen. Like the yellowing takes many, many decades to happen. So, like these keycaps are like 30 plus years old at this point. So it took a while. It took a good long while for that to happen. So, and I always got to figure out the orientation of these. I think these are okay. Those aren't it. Let's find one that's like not too clapped. Okay, that one's not good. So let's compress these here. Oh yeah, dude, red and beige is good. Like my Gion F18X V2 has a beige keycap set that's built out Blue Alps. It has a Silicon Graphics keycap set on it, so really cool set. So love red and beige. Okay, those aren't gripping pretty well. Let me try some of these. Okay, that's not good. Okay, that one clipped in. Give me a second. Let me pull out the big pliers. Alright, so, yeah, also everything with Alps is basically hand fitted. So, like, we're basically hand fitting everything to each other. Alright, there we go. So we got our clips in. Let's get our wires. That's not going to work. Okay, let's get... I have to get a different wire. So we want our... Making sure our spacebar wire is good. Let's get our 2U wires out. Perfect. So 2U wires. So we got our 2U. We just need our 275 wire to get it going. So let me find another 275 wire, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So it's kind of just trial and error with all this Alps stuff. Okay, let's try this one. Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I personally just don't retrobrite stuff. And again, I don't hate retrobriting. I just, one thing that retrobriting does, it slowly damages the plastic over time. Like the more you do retrobriting, the more it damages the plastic. So I don't want to damage the chemical composition of the plastic. That's just me being paranoid. But also, God, this wire is like weird. I'm not gonna use this wire. This wire is all messed up. So that's the side. So like I just don't personally retrobrite stuff. It's just not my thing and not what I'm looking for out of the hobby. I'm just trying to find a 275. I'm gonna have to go with a bigger one just to clear these clips. That one's not gonna work. So like retrobriting just isn't my thing. And also, like I said, like I'm a big fan of yellowing. I think it looks amazing, and it's just part of the look and the patina of it. So, all right, let me find another 275 wire because that one was kind of clapped. So let me look in my bin of stabilizer parts because I do have a bunch of 275U wires. So we're just going to pull out some old Macintosh ones and see if that's going to work for us. So, and there we go. 275. Perfect. All right. Perfect. Did harvest a bunch of Macintosh boards. So, got a ton of good stabilizer parts on hand, which is really nice. So, perfect. So, let's put those to the side. All right, let's get some switches and we'll start mounting stabilizers. So, we want 5 switches for our 5 stabs we're doing. So, should be a good time. So, and again, these switches are white Alps, so they're white clicky Alps, but these are the later. They're not pine white Alps, which are the better and more preferred one. These are actually bamboo Alps. So these are kind of what people kind of view as an inferior version of standard white Alps, and these were made a little bit later. So they're still complicated Alps, but they're just kind of a later design for the white clicky Alps. So in most Alp switches, some of the switches will have 2 variants. You'll have the pine version, which are the more high quality and earlier production, and then you'll have bamboo versions of switches, which are going to be later production and a little lower quality. One thing with Alps, just with their history, over time, their quality kind of went down. And kind of my goal with each of my Alps builds, at least my modern Alps builds, I want to have one of each switch type. So I was looking for these switches for a while, and I got these in the eBay lot, which is really cool. So I'm really happy to have the bamboo version of these particular Alps, which is really awesome. So we're going to start lubing our stabilizers and getting everything ready. So we're using 205G0 to lube up these stabilizers. So we'll start off with our right shift. That's usually the one I like to start off with first, and then we'll kind of go from there. So but yeah, we're just going to have some fun here, folks. So it's a nice one. So we'll get that lube in there. Perfect. So we're basically just lubing any point of contact for the particular stabilizer wire. So wherever that wire is going to interface with, that's what we want to lubricate. So we want to lubricate these clips, the wire, part of the wire that clips in, and then also we want to lubricate the clips under the actual keycap. So those are going to be our main points of contact. So that's what we want to do. So that's what we're going to do. So, and that's just going to make sure our stabilizers don't rattle, because unlubed, like Alps pattern stabilizers, rattle horribly. So that's like a really just kind of big thing. You want to put some type of lubricant on Alps pattern stabilizers. And Alps pattern stabilizers, as you can see, are plate mount stabilizers. These do not mount into the PCB. These are going to be legit plate mount stabilizers. So, which is going to be, they're really good. Alps stabilizers are really nice. Once you get them properly tuned and you lubricate them correctly, these stabilizers are really, really good, actually. They're really fantastic. So, a little bit different kind of system and mechanism compared to like Cherry MX. But just kind of the same concept. It's just stabilizing the keycap, making sure that your keycaps are not, your bigger keycaps like your spacebar are not wobbling. So, but they're really good. Once you kind of figure out Alps stabilizers, they work pretty fine. They're pretty easy to do. It's just they're a little more time consuming than like Cherry MX stabs. But yeah, once you get the hang of them, they're pretty simple and they go pretty quick. So cool. All right, we got this one going. So we'll mount this keycap and we'll get her in there. So, awesome. Cool, I got that one. That one is sounding really nice. Got some mark right there under the left shift. We'll see if we can get that cleaned up another time. So I think we're gonna do our, we'll actually do our big ass enter. This one's kind of a pain in the butt. So we'll do the big ass enter, because I love big ass enters. This is a big ass enter, so it is very much a vibe. So big ass enters are awesome. So, and that is the official term of that keycap, by the way. It is a big ass enter. So it's a very literal name and it's a very explicit name. So, but that if you look at keycaps and the names of keycaps, like the official name of keycaps, that is the name of that keycap. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, big ass enter is awesome. So, or BAEs as they're sometimes called. So cool. All right, got that one in. Perfect. Let's get these wires on the top lubed. Now we got the clip area lubed up. Perfect. Get the clips under the big ass enter. And then we'll get the big ass enter installed. Cool. All right, we're going to get the clips under here. Cool. Got that in. Perfect. Got our big ass center in there. So, looking pretty good. Just wipe that off. Cool. Look at that. Cool. All right, let's get our backspace. So we'll put the clips in there for that one. Lubricate our clips down there. Cool. Yeah, but we're looking pretty good, everybody. So we're just getting this build going, but like I said, it's just a fun time. So this is just a build I need to get rebuilt for the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard meetup. So this build I've had for a few months. I had it originally built a different way, and I just didn't like it. And I disassembled this board like a month ago, and it's just been sitting. So yeah, I suppose it's finally time to get this one rebuilt. So I've just been waiting for the time and the right moment, and when I have parts sourced and everything. So we're pretty much ready to go on this one. So we're getting it going. Cool. All right, let's get this backspace in here. Oh, didn't lube the clip right there. So let me just do that really quick. Oops, it's a little too much. There we go. Let's get it going. There we go. Cool. Look at that, folks. We got perfect. All right, let's do our right shift. So next one, everybody. So all right, got those clips lubed. And once we got that going well. Cool. Cool. Got that one, and then let's just get these clips, and then we'll do the space bar, which is always the big one, the one that's kind of a pain in the butt. So cool. All right, let's get this one clipped in. Cool. So let's wipe these keycaps off really quick. There we go. Cool. Awesome. Let's get our last one, folks, which is going to be our space bar, and then we're pretty much ready to solder these switches in. Do a quick test, and then we'll put the rest of the switches in. So we're just going to kind of burn through and solder them in. That wire's no good. Cool. Getting everything lubed in. Cool. And that one going. Let's lube these little posts right here. This is just going to make our stuff a little bit more stable. Cool. Got those. And then we'll do our clips and our little posts under here, and we'll do the wire. So got those. Let's lube these posts right here. Cool. All right, that's done. Let's just do the wire. me just get these clipped in, folks. Cool. Awesome. Let's get this lube wiped off, and I think we're good to go. Let's get a little bit of lube around that wire down there. There we go. Awesome, everybody. We are done lubricating stabilizers. So that's always a good time, everybody. So, good times. Yeah, as you can see, these are very yellowed keycaps, and I love it. So, all right. That's fantastic. So let's fire up the soldering iron. Actually, let's put my stabilizer parts away really quick and the keycaps, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's clean up this stuff. So we have a clean workspace to kind of work with. So let me put these stabilizer parts away. So we got a ton of stat parts. So let me just get these away. But yeah, stabilizers are done, everybody. Let's get these. What? Give me a second. Let's get the rest of these away. Okay, let's put our stabilizer parts away, and then we'll put the keycaps away for the moment because I'm not really doing keycaps till the very end. So let's bag up our keycaps. All right, stick these up here for right now. But yeah, those are pretty good. Oops. One part didn't get put away. Give me a second. That's why we do this live. Just so you can see all my mistakes, everybody. So, been down here about 30 minutes. This should not be a long stream, folks. This is a very easy build. I've done it before, so should be pretty quick. Should be a pretty quick stream today, folks. So, yeah, it looks beautiful. Perfect. All right. Let's get this lined up with the PCB. Perfect. Let's get our solder wick. We'll get our vent out, and then we'll let me fire up the soldering iron. Move my little anti-static bag. Cool. Yeah, this should be a relatively quick build, folks. So not much to this building. The longest, most involved part is done. So let's get it going. I just want to, let's move my mouse out of the way. I want to just check something. So yeah, good time, everybody. Good times. So, all right, friends, let's get her going. But yeah, we're live on Instagram and also Twitch today, folks. So it's going to be a good time. So, all right, friends, we're going to turn this on, turn the vent on. All right, friends, let's get it going. All right. Let's do the space bar next. times. Let's do our backspace. Let's do this one over here. Cool. And then this enter. All right. I think we're good there. Let's just do our other pins here. And then, yeah, we'll get going. Times. Got a couple more pins we got to do on this side, and we'll check these switches. Cool. Give me a second, just adding a little more solder to some of these points. And then this last one. Perfect. All right. Good times, everybody. Yeah, there we go. Good times. All right. Got our stabilized keycaps pushed in. So those are nice and held in now. Pretty good. All right, let's get our USB cable here, and we're just going to test. We're going to test these. Let's go into VIA really quick, because this is a VIA board. And still pops up, which is nice. So we're just going to do some programming. All right, we're wing keyless. That all works. Cool. All right. Damn it. All right, backspace switch is bad, so yeah, I'm not looking forward to swapping that out, but nothing I can do because my desolder gun's kind of out of commission. So, all right, but we're literally just gonna put in the rest of these switches, and just kind of go for it. So, I'm gonna do the perimeter switches first, and then we'll do the rest, the numbers and the alphas. But I just want to do the perimeter just to kind of really kind of solidify and hold everything in. But like I said, if there's any faulty switches on this, there's not much I can do until I get the new desoldering nozzle. So, yeah, we're just going to kind of wing it and say YOLO. So, I'll replace the faulty switches later this week. So, yeah. But those are the ones that we're going to do right first, and then that'll really kind of solidify and hold everything in. And then we'll get going. Then we'll do the rest. We'll put the rest of the switches in. All right, there's something. second. That wasn't good. Now we can properly seat that. Just making sure everything is seated correctly, and we're good. Awesome. All right. So let's get the vents fired up, and we'll go from there. All right. Good times. That one's looking good. That one's good. Awesome. Cool. Coming along. Got that one right there. That one's seated. Perfect. This one in. Cool. Getting close, everybody. Getting close. Almost there. I'm going to do these top ones. Good times. Just loosen that one. Cool. Good times, everybody. Good times. Nice. Coming along. Got a couple more. Give me a second. So, come along. Cool. 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 And then one more. Cool. All right, let me just wipe off my soldering tip, test these switches really quick, and then we'll go from there. All right, let's go to VIA really quick. So we're going in. Yeah, we have quite a few switches that are not registering, but hey, not much I can do at the moment, so. Alright, we're just going to put the rest of them in, and we'll figure out what's on Thursday. We'll rebuild this board. Or probably Friday night to be realistic. It'll probably be Friday night, so. Let's put in the rest of these switches, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we're just going to put in the rest of the switches, and then we'll go from there, folks. Ooh, feels really good. So. Alright, yeah, we're like still under the hour mark, folks. So this is a pretty quick build. So should be out here in the next, like, I'd say like 20, 25 minutes. So this is a very easy build to do. And there we go. Alright. Here we go. Those are our bamboo Alps SKCM White, and these are the bamboo version of the White's clicky switches. So looking pretty good. So yeah. So let's put these in. Let's get the things. Let's get the soldering iron fired up, and we're gonna go from there. All right. Cool. All right, everybody. Let's get this one soldered in. Cool. Come along. Give me a second. Alright, cool. Alright, let's keep going, everybody. Oop. Good times. Nice. Nice. Looking good. Nice. Actually, no, 3D keycap. This is a personal build. So this is a board I've had for a while. I just got to do a rebuild of it. So this is a Hex.3c V2, and we're putting Alps SKCM Bamboo White clicky switches in this. So, yeah, this is a rebuild we're doing. So we're going to showcase this at the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard Meetup this Saturday. So I built this board back in, I'd say June when I got it, but I tore it apart back in August because I just didn't like how it was built out. So yeah, it's just been kind of just sitting there. So it's been sitting unbuilt for a while. So we're putting it back together. There we go. Awesome. Awesome. So let's suck up all that. Let me just clean off my soldering tip really quick. There we go. Cool. Coming along, folks. So, yeah, we're getting this one going. So we got 3 more rows of switches to do. And then we'll just kind of see which switches are faulty. My desoldering gun is down. I'm waiting for a part to come in. So I really can't rebuild this board until, if there's any dead or faulty switches on this, I can't desolder those and install good switches until I get the part for my desolder gun in, which is coming Thursday. So this will be ready and good to go for the meet on Saturday. But we probably won't be able to replace the faulty switches until Friday night, probably. So yeah, but this is the last build I had to kind of throw together for the weekend. So, yeah. Looking good. A little bit more on that one. Yeah, but these switches are from the... I'll double check them. I usually just desolder them and put in one with a good switch plate. I'm lazy. But we might just give that a try and showcase it on stream tonight and show you. I know the method they're talking about. I'm just lazy. So I act like desoldering is less work. It's way more work, but yeah, we'll try that method once we get the board together. And heck, why not? We'll showcase people how to fix Alps switches here. So yeah, we're gonna try it. All right, we'll do that. Just give me a second. All right. Cool. Getting them going, folks. Again, we're taking our time soldering this puppy up, so it's a nice, easy going board. Looking good. Coming along, yeah. Again, I think we're going to definitely take a look at those. So it should be good, though. We're going to get them going. So there we go. We're just going to get this. Just kind of taking our time soldering these switches in. So, yeah, we're going to try. Cool. Looking pretty good. Almost there. Cool. Cool. Got 2 more rows of switches, folks, and then we'll have all of our switches soldered in, so. Yeah, looking good. Yeah, we're just taking our time soldering in these Alps switches. This is a personal build for me that we will be showcasing at the UC Irvine Mechanical Keyboard Show this upcoming Saturday. So, cool. Alright, almost done with this row, and then we'll have 1 more row of switches to do. Looking good. Coming along. Almost there. All right. I mean, good times, everybody. Yes. I mean, class pets are fun, everybody. So, I don't know. It's an inside joke, everybody. If you get that, you get that. So for my person who just popped into chat, like, class pets are fun. Let's put it that way. That's all I gotta say about that, everybody. Little inside joke right there. Alright. Yeah, so we're finishing up this board, folks. This is one that's going to be going. Give me a second, friends. Perfect. Looking good. We're on our last row of switches we're soldering in, and then we're just going to kind of do some testing. And then we'll figure it out. We'll go from there. So we're just kind of taking our time. We'll probably be out of here in the next like 30 or so minutes. This is a relatively quick stream, folks. This is an easy board to put together. So this is not a complicated build. So good times, everybody. 5 more switches left, and then we'll be done soldering. Cool. Cool. Awesome. Looking good. 2 more. Awesome. All right, literally 1 more switch, everybody. Cool. All right, we are done soldering, folks. Oh God, I don't know. My job, I don't know if I'd want a class pet. Like, be completely honest, that's a lot of work, and I'm lazy, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Between me and my students, we'd probably end up killing the class pet, either due to stupidity or neglect. Realistically, I don't know. It's always a fun time, everybody. So, all right. So we got our PCB assembly all soldered in. Like I said, if there are any faulty or dead switches on this, I can't really desolder them because my desolder gun is out of commission until Thursday. So we're just going to do our best and maybe kind of showcase fix for these switches without desoldering them. Because there is a fix you can do. Not necessarily, it doesn't work all the time, but we're going to see. How does it work? Backspace is being weird, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, alt works. Spacebar is good. Yeah, there's a few switches that are messed up on this thing, so. Oh man. Yeah, there are quite a few dead switches on this. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely going to have a lot of work on Thursday, unfortunately. Oh my god, yeah, we have so many dead switches. Fun. That's more dead switches than I care for, folks. We probably have a... Yeah, we have more dead switches than I care to count, folks. We have a metric crapload of them. So, alright, so pretty interesting. Yeah, we got a lot of dead switches on this board, folks. So I think I'm just going to have it to get. So it's going to, we'll put the keycaps on, but this is definitely going to be a part 2 figuring out. Again, just kind of going through switch by switch. But the main thing was just kind of get this board together. So, let's put our keycaps on. And then we'll get this thing mounted in the case. And then we'll get on out of here, folks. This is a again, like I said, this is a very quick build today. So, all right, let's figure out what is what. So, control. All right. Let's get our controls. Yeah, like these crusty keycaps. They are so crusty. I love this. Alright. My caps lock. Alright, let's get our alts on here. Look at these crusty controls. So 3D keycap, like I have a multimeter. I'm just lazy. And I'm also a glutton for punishment. So, like, I usually I solder the switches in and I test them. If they're not registering in VIA correctly, I desolder them and I just swap out the switch plate. So my desolder gun is kind of out of commission, so I'm probably gonna have to revisit this board when I have time on Friday night. So Friday we're gonna be doing a little bit of a longer stream. So on that stream we'll fix the switches on this board, and then we got to pack up and get pretty much the entirety of my collection ready to go to the keyboard meetup next weekend. So, yeah, so it's going to be an interesting stream. Let's find where the heck is my caps lock on this one? I'm looking for I'll find it. So, let's get all these ones put in, and then we're just going to kind of go from there. So, but yeah, we'll get pretty much everything else in here. So, but we'll get the rest. But the board will be together for the most part. So that's like half the battle, realistically. So. Yeah, this board is pretty sick. And you can see these yellowed keycaps, and it's a vibe. It's such a vibe on this board, so. Not using F-row, we're not using blockers here, we're not using that one. But yeah, I love how crusty this keycap set is. It is crusty, and I love it. So, no, this is a very disgusting keycap set, and I love it. So, it's been thoroughly clean, it's just the yellowing's not coming off. So. Kind of throwing any keycaps that we're not using on this one to the side. I'm using a scroll lock. We'll use the number 4. No F-row on this one. Let's put that 9. All right, now G. All right, we'll put her. But yeah, this board is pretty sick. So, oh, dude, I ain't retrobrighting this. The yellowing is the part of the vibe. I love yellowing. I know retrobrighting is a thing. I'll tell you why I'm not personally a fan of retrobrighting. So retrobrighting is not permanent. When you retrobright something, yes, it'll go back to the original color, but for a certain amount of time. And it'll retrobright significantly faster. So like, for example, if I were to retrobright these keycaps, they would look nice and shiny and white again, but the yellowing would happen, I'd say, maybe within a year or two, whereas the original yellowing took decades to occur. Also, the more times you retrobright something, it actually damages the plastic over time. So for me, I just don't want to damage the plastic. And I personally like the yellowing. I think it's part of the patina and the aesthetic of these particular, like, just retro keyboards. So, like, it personally just doesn't bother me. So, like, for me, I personally like the yellowing. I think it's just part of the aesthetic. It's part of the vibe, and I really love it. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of retrobrighting. That's part of it. It's not permanent, and it's going to re-yellow a lot quicker. And if you retrobright it multiple times, it's going to damage the plastic, and it makes it very brittle. That's why, like, in vintage stuff, people like keycap sets that are made out of PBT, because PBT doesn't yellow over time. Whereas these are made of ABS, and they do yellow over time. Which, honestly, it doesn't bother me. Like, I personally love it. And this is my one FK2001 set that is yellowed. And I figured for this particular red keyboard, I figured a yellowed keycap set would go really, really cool with it. So, like, for me, I personally love the yellowing. It's just part of the vibe and the aesthetic I'm going for. So, but yeah, it's going to look really good. Oh, gotta search for keycaps. Alright, gotta search for more keycaps because we didn't get them in the first round. JK, we're looking for 2 more. There's my F. Press F to pay respects, everybody. Oh, there we go. Ooh, that sounds really nice. Let's put this keycap set back. Yeah, but this is my clapped, crusty SK2001 set. So, yeah. Take it easy, everybody. Absolutely have a fun. Thank you for tuning in. Again, there's always we're here for having fun, everybody. So there we go. So that's my crispy set. Let's stick that up there. But there we go, folks. There is our internal assembly. We have quite a few switches that are faulty on this. I'd say probably have 10 or 15 switches on this assembly. So nothing I can do about it. So I'll probably take care of this Thursday or Friday night, depending on my availability later in the week. But my new part I need for my desoldering gun's coming Thursday. So, but that's pretty good, everybody. So, but yeah, looks pretty good. So let's get the case out, and we're gonna do a couple things to the case. So we're gonna put our internal assembly over here for right now. So, and we're gonna unscrew this case. So let me get this puppy going. Let's get my screwdriver bit, and we'll unscrew everything, and we'll kind of go over the case. So this case is made out of aluminum, so this is a very inexpensive case. You can actually buy this keyboard actually right now. This is the Hex.3c V2. So I got this from Keebs and Cables, who are based in Australia. They actually still have units in stock right now, but I bought this before kind of all the tariffs kind of went insane over the summer. So, I mean, if you try to buy this from, I don't know if Australia is shipping stuff to the United States right now, but this is a really cool keyboard because the kit itself is like $160. So it's a very affordable keycap set. A keyboard kit, and it's cool because if you get the soldered PCB, it supports Alps and Cherry MX natively, which is really nice. So you don't need any special PCB or anything like that. And they have the plate file available if you want to build this Alps. So this is a nice and very easily accessible board that's very affordable that you can get into Alps. And I think it sounds quite nice for being definitely more on the budget side for like a mechanical keyboard, but it's a really nice little 60%. I really love this board. So I'm just seeing which screw has not come out yet. All right, let's pull this out. There we go. So we're gonna pull out the top case, and then I'm just gonna push this one out. So now these pieces of tape, we're gonna redo these. We have to essentially force break this keyboard. So essentially, this keyboard without force breaking it is really, really pingy. Like ridiculously pingy. It's very noticeable when typing on it. So I want to just put new tape on it. It looks a little more clean. So we're just going to take this tape off right here, and we're going to force break this board. So there's just metal on metal. So the top and the bottom case is made out of metal. Obviously, this is a full aluminum keyboard. But that metal on metal contact creates a distinct ping noise if you type on this board. And it's pretty noticeable, and it's kind of annoying. Especially if you're newer to keyboards, you think, oh, the ping doesn't really matter. I mean, it kind of does, trust me. If you get a keyboard that's pingy, you're going to notice it, and it's going to be really annoying. So, that's the only downside to this keyboard. It needs to be force broken, because it's going to ping, and it's going to sound like... The ping is just going to be really annoying and really noticeable. So, but it's a top case, so it's a very simple design. As you can see, this is a very, very simple keyboard design, but it's a really nice one. So, I really enjoy it. So we're going to put it to the side. We got some scissors out. We're going to kind of cleanly cut this painter's tape so we can do a proper force break. There we go. So we're just going to make this look nice. So we're just going to cut that clean just so it's a little flush, everybody. Look at that. Cool. Awesome. 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 Let's get this going. All right, let's start putting this down. All right, we got a nice little force break going. Perfect. Awesome. Let's get our next portion here. Cool. Yeah, so we're just doing it, everybody. It's going good, so... Awesome. Got that one, and then we got one more. All right. Good times, everybody. Awesome. Cool. Got that. Pretty good. We're just going to do one last little piece right there. And then we'll be good. So cool. Almost there, folks. Just doing that little force break right there. That's just going to make everything not ping. We're going to do one more corner right here. They see the holes exposed. And then we'll go from there. Cool. All right. Cool. And there we go. All right, friends. We are fully force broken on this. So that's just something we do have to do with this particular keyboard. So I'm going to put these tools to the side. We're not going to need those. And we're done with these. Cool. All right. Let's put my scissors to the side. We're done with those. All right. So we're going to put on these. Let's move this to the side. Let's grab our top case. And then we're almost there, folks. We're going to put on these little special gaskets. So we have these little rubber O-rings. So this is an O-ring mount. So there's these little parts of the PCB that stick out. So we're just going to put these, slide these around those particular portions. So that's just what we're doing. And it's a nice, very simple O-ring mount. So never seen a board. I mean, I've seen boards. O-rings are pretty common for mounting styles in keyboards, but this is just kind of a different one. This is a very kind of unique implementation of the O-ring mount on this particular keyboard. So cool. Let's flip it around. Let's hold those down, and then we'll get these ones going. Cool. All right, cool. Let's get these going. And then let's put the the bottom case on. In all of its glory. Let's kind of hold and compress everything. Let's get a couple corners in, and then we'll get going. Cool. Got that side in. Get this other corner in. Cool. All right, we've got our corners in, so we're good now. We are held in. Cool. Let's get all of our screws in there. And then we'll just do a little bit of a sound test on this one, folks. Cool. All right. Let's get the rest of these in here on the top. Perfect. Perfect. One more. Cool. All right, let's put our bits away and our tools, and then we'll kind of show off, wipe this board off, and we'll show it off. Let me just wipe this board off. So it's been sitting there for a minute, so. Cool. There we go. All right, let's move our little work mat to the side. And there we go. As you can see, this is my clapped, crusty keycap set. But I think it matches the aesthetic of this board perfectly. I love the yellow keycaps. I think they fit the theme and the idea pretty well. So, do a little bit of sound test, and then we'll get out of here, folks. This was a pretty quick stream. Yeah, so that is fantastic, everybody. So look at that. So beautiful board, everybody. So we're going to get off stream, everybody. We'll upload the VOD up to YouTube. But again, those of you who tuned in, whether it was here on Twitch or you popped in on Instagram, again, thank you so much. It's always a fun time, everybody. So have a great evening, everybody. And again, thank you for dropping in, everybody. The support is really awesome.